we've got a brand new leak regarding the Nintendo Switch Pro that claims it could be the largest mid-generational leap of all time. I mean, we're talking 4K DLSS on the Nintendo Switch Pro. The leakers claiming that it could be better than the base PS4 model, but feature DLSS technology. We've also got some news in that leak that's suggesting the release date of the Nintendo Switch Pro, as well as two prominent games releasing near the Switch Pro's launch, those being the sequel to Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart 9. Now, this leak actually comes from two credible insiders from the ResetEra forum named Zombie and Nate the Hate. And according to the leakers, this information is all but confirmed through data mining and other means. But as is tradition with every big leak like this one, we have to be sure to take it with a grain of salt, because it's very likely this information is false. But it's been picking up quite a bit of steam on Reddit and Twitter, and it's worth discussing because they could be right about everything. At first, I wasn't going to cover this story because I see ResetEra and I'm just like, okay, it's probably BS. But these guys have been right about quite a few things in the past, and I figured that I might as well hear them out and give you guys my take, as well as speculate on what I think the likely scenario will be. Oh, hey guys, happy Zelda 35th anniversary. Hopefully we get to celebrate more in the future, but for now, a happy birthday will have to suffice. So this leak is primarily focused on the hardware of the Nintendo Switch Pro, as that's the thing that everybody is questioning right now. And according to the leak, the Nintendo Switch Pro will be on or about the power of the base PlayStation 4 model at native resolution, but feature the ability to scale beyond the Xbox One X due to the DLSS technology, and the potential max power of the Switch Pro being around the Xbox Series S at native resolution, but with DLSS bringing it close to the ballpark of the PlayStation 5 in power. Now, real quick, for those of you that don't know what DLSS is, I know you've been explained this multiple times if you've seen many videos on the Nintendo Switch Pro. It stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling, which is effectively just taking a lower resolution image and boosting it up with AI technology into a higher resolution. The DLSS 2.0 is literal Harry Potter type magic. Now, first things first, I do not think the Nintendo Switch Pro will match anywhere close to the PlayStation 5 in power, so that part of this leak is just out of this world crazy. But do I think these specs are possible to get near the PlayStation 4 with DLSS? I think it could be very capable of doing that and even getting closer to the PS4 Pro territory. But let me make this very clear, that would not happen with the pure spec of the Nintendo Switch Pro. If it was, the Nintendo Switch Pro would be an overheating mess. But it could be possible with the DLSS technology. Now, according to the leak, the config file was data mined from a game on the Nintendo Switch, and the file had a profile outside of the portable and docked version, which featured a 1440p render resolution. Now, funny enough, the config file that was supposedly data mined can't be found anymore, so that right there is throwing up some major red flags for this leak. But there's more, and this is where it really starts to get interesting, and it's regarding the release date of the Nintendo Switch Pro. So the release date of the Nintendo Switch Pro might not actually be tied to Breath of the Wild this time. According to this leak, the Nintendo Switch Pro could be announced this year and release holiday season of 2021, but with Breath of the Wild 2 releasing in 2022. The leak then goes on to mention that Mario Kart 9 could actually be Nintendo's blockbuster game for holiday 2021 with the Nintendo Switch Pro. Now, it is worth mentioning that this Mario Kart 9 aspect of this leak is definitely speculation and a prediction by the leaker rather than information that he obtained by his insider means. Do I think it's crazy for Nintendo to release Mario Kart 9 in holiday 2021? No, I wouldn't say it's that crazy to think about, but why would Nintendo try to change something that's not broken? The Nintendo Switch released alongside Breath of the Wild and it was a major success. So why wouldn't they release the Nintendo Switch Pro alongside Breath of the Wild 2 to try to repeat that year one success? In my opinion, this is what they need to do. They need to release the Nintendo Switch Pro as well as Breath of the Wild 2 in holiday 2021, and then give us Mario Kart 9 in 2022, as well as Splatoon. Now, the other possible scenario is Nintendo releases the Nintendo Switch Pro in holiday season 2021 without a mainline Legend of Zelda or Mario game. So the timeline would be holiday season 2021 would be the Nintendo Switch Pro, March of 2022 being Breath of the Wild, and then we get Mario Kart 9 during the summer, and then Splatoon 3 for holiday season of 2022. Now, this launch schedule would be an absolute cluster, and I really hope Nintendo doesn't do it. I still think that we're gonna get the Nintendo Switch Pro and Breath of the Wild 2 this holiday season. I still firmly believe that Mario Kart 9 is a way ways away. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still crushing it for the Nintendo Switch, and I don't think they're going to be releasing Mario Kart 9 because of that. Once people stop buying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, then Nintendo will decide to release Mario Kart 9. Now, one thing that I did want to talk about that is pretty interesting is if the Nintendo Switch Pro does release with DLSS technology, then could we see enhanced versions of the games we already have on the Switch? For instance, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild enhanced for the Nintendo Switch Pro, kind of like how PlayStation does it and Xbox does it. So why couldn't Nintendo? It would definitely continue building the hype for previous titles and get people buying it, especially new owners of the Nintendo Switch Pro that have previously never owned a Nintendo console before. But the question still remains, is this leak a generational leap or not? In my opinion, I don't think that this one will be. I think the Nintendo Switch Pro that we will get this year is going to be a mid-generation refresh that enhances the experience of the Nintendo Switch console. I don't think that we're going to be getting into 4K games. I think there's a possibility that the Nintendo Switch dock does do that, but for the handheld, I don't think we're going to get as big of an improvement as so many people are hoping. Sure, I think it will feature DLSS technology, but I don't think Nintendo is going to utilize it to its full potential. I think the Switch Pro that we're getting this year will feature an OLED screen. I think the Switch Pro will keep the form factor for the Joy-Cons, but the V2 of the Joy-Cons will be improved. So the way that I envision the Nintendo Switch Pro is a more premium model of the current Nintendo Switch. I don't think it's going to have a massive performance boost that this leak is claiming, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Do you guys want a Nintendo Switch Pro that has a massive generational leap, or would you rather the Nintendo Switch Pro be a similar spec machine, but just improves on everything the Nintendo Switch did wrong? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys all once again for watching. This has been Wes, and I will talk to you on the next video.